when GLP-1 increases after we have eaten, GLP-1 sends signals to the pancreas and it tells it to release insulin. So by doing this, it's going to help to balance the glucose levels in the body. GLP-1 also sends signals to the stomach and it tells it to decrease the gastric motility and also to decrease gastric emptying. That means that our stomach is going to feel fuller for longer. But GLP-1 not only stops there, it also sends signals to the brain and it increases the feeling of satiety and decreases the feeling of appetite. So in a nutshell, we can clearly see why GLP-1 is so important. Because pretty much when it's being released in the body, where it's around in the body, it gives two key signals. One is to balance the glucose levels, and the other one is to cause a feeling of fullness. So I'm explaining this in a very simplistic way, but in a nutshell, those are some of the key benefits of GLP-1 increase in the body. Now, having said this, let's talk about a little bit about the GLP-1 revolution and how pharma is creating waves of innovation across the food, the beverage, but also the supplement aisles. So when we talk about GLP-1, I'm pretty sure that for a lot of you, the first thing that comes to mind is Ozempic or this blue pen. And the truth is that all this revolution, it indeed started with Ozempic a few years ago. It's this drug that was initially designed to help diabetic people to control their blood glucose levels. And what's very important to point out is that when we talk about Ozempic, we are talking about an analog of GLP-1. This means that pretty much when people inject themselves with Ozempic, it's like if they were injecting themselves with a synthetic, so to speak, GLP-1, so that it increases and then it helps to balance the glucose levels, as we discussed in the previous slides. It helps to increase satiety, reduce appetite, etc. So a few years ago, when Ozempic started to work out, it was also found out that it had a very good results in weight management. So that's a little bit what started this revolution. Then Ozempic got approved not just for diabetic control, but also for weight management. And then we started to see other similar options that were using not just GLP-1, but other similar hormones like GIP. We have like Mounjaro, Wegovy, etc. So all this was happening in the pharma world. And then a lot of users started to increase more and more. But then these GLP-1 users or ex-users have also very specific needs when it comes to nutrition, which we're going to discuss later. Not just from the perspective that they are changing their eating habits, so they have specific needs, but also because very often they have side effects, as with a lot of drugs, that need to be catered to. So what we're seeing then is that this trend, this GLP-1 wording, this finding solutions to consumers is now not just on the pharma side of it, but it's really something we're starting to see in the supplement aisles, but also in the grocery section. So maybe right now you are raising your eyebrow and thinking, what is Florencia talking about? Let me show you some examples. We can see here some snapshots of innovations that have been taking place in the last months. One that I think is quite important is the one of Nestle, which last year they launched a new line of ready meals called Vital Pursuit. So this line of ready meals was especially designed for GLP-1 users, so people taking these medications, but also for people in weight management journeys. So what makes this line so special? So people at Nestle realized that people that were using GLP-1 or trying to cut down on their eating and improving their diets, they would opt for smaller sizes that had to be more packed with protein, for example. It was also found out that some of the side effects of taking GLP-1 medications is that the appetite is really kind of gone, but people still need to eat something, or that when people were eating, they would get very full very quickly. All could be part of this GLP-1 situation that we explained a few slides ago. So because of that, it's very important to have specific kind of meals with enough protein, with a reasonable size, because when people start losing weight, one side, if they really need it, it's healthy. But on the other side, if they don't keep the right nutrition, this can bring to other problems like wasting muscle, for example, and so on. So we're starting to see big companies like Nestle creating these innovations for GLP-1 users. But it's not just Nestle. We're also seeing this with other startups or with other kind of brands. In this case, we can see this example from Daily Harvest. They have also a section for ready meals, but they also have smoothies, for example. They have snacks. When we look at the supplement aisle, we see supplements like shakes, like sachets for coffee, even bars that are claiming to help to boost your natural